In this video, I want to tell you the 5 reasons why I switched from Fuji to Sony. Yeah, I know that this is not going to solve all my problems. I might have some issues with this as well. But in this video, I want to neatly wrap up what has been bugging me and why I've made the switch. So let's jump into the first one. And if you didn't watch my previous video about the switch I've made, one of the biggest reasons I had was about reliability. I did have on many occasions, not just the one that I pointed out in that video, because that was the one I was able to film, the problem, this one here, with it just locking up and freezing and me having to take the battery out. This happened on multiple occasions. And the other was autofocus. We all know about Fujifilm's autofocus issues, and it just got too much for me. And after testing and reviewing other Sony cameras, I just felt that this was superior and something that I really wanted to invest more time into. So those are my first fundamental reasons of the switch. This is all about my journey and my journey with equipment. If it serves as some kind of narrative or voice for you, then so be it. But I'm just giving you my insights. These are opinions, so, love them or hate them, that's just it. That's one of the second reasons I made the switch, is because I felt a bit pigeonholed. I have been getting, for the last couple of years, DM'd or messaged or emailed every day about Fujifilm cameras. Now, I have a massive adoration for Fujifilm. I still do, even though with all this switch malarkey, I still adore those cameras. I love my X106. It's still my everyday camera. However, some people, with love to them, pigeonholed me as the Fujifilm preacher. And I am not affiliated with Fujifilm at all. I am not an ambassador, and they have never paid me. So I don't work for them, and I don't have any brand affiliation. And unless they do, I'm going to tell you guys first, then I see no reason why I can't switch. I think it is a bit moronic of me to have constantly talked about Fujifilm gear for the last 2 years, but it's just because I want to share my thoughts, insights, and experience. And as I've kind of learned more as a photographer and filmmaker, that is not it. Like, this stuff doesn't really matter. All that matters is that it does the job, and it excites me and makes me create, the work, the art that I want to produce. So. Brand affiliation is kind of silly in some ways, but I understand why it's important, because these cameras, these lenses, they can be very expensive, and if you're being careful with your money, you do need to make the right decisions and have a guiding voice sometimes to make a purchase. So I completely empathize. I had to do it when buying the Sony. I needed not just hands-on reviews, I needed to see what other people were saying. Number 3 is I want this channel to take a bit of a diversion. If you've seen lately, a lot of my videos are talking all about travel photography, photography in general, and how to make money as a photographer. These are the things that are interesting me more and more at the moment. How to sustain a career, a life as a photographer. And as I go more and more on this journey, it's more about the art of photography rather than this gear, that gear. To be honest, I don't think that I'm actually a very good spokesperson for camera gear and lenses. I love to play and use it, but I'm not super geeky about what goes under the hood of a camera. I want it to just work the best in the situations I need it for. So what I want to talk more about on this channel is being a photographer. Obviously, you need to know your ins and outs of how a camera works, but for example, something like a 100 megapixel camera doesn't really interest me or give me anything more than what I need. Just other than a bit of a headache, especially with those file sizes. So what I'm trying to say is I want to try and help you guys. I want to try and help you tell better stories, and I want to try and show you how you can do this as a career, a lifestyle, and think differently about how you approach your photography. I want you to learn how to sustain this. So if you are interested in all those things, I'd love you to subscribe to this channel, because I want to, go deeper into these subjects. And also not forgetting my mentorship program. Go check that out on my website. I won't talk about that too much, but I've now got another round open if you want to work with me and develop this career together. Number 4 is I want to open up this audience more. As I said, I feel a little bit pigeonholed just talking to the Fujifilm community, and it stops me from talking to a bigger breadth of an audience. I'd love to talk to the Sony audience as well as the Fuji audience, as well as the Ricoh audience, as well as, I want to speak to photographers, and I do want to make more photography content rather than gear videos. And I know that that's why I've been able to build this channel, is because I've been able to bunny hop on the name of Fujifilm and talk about it because it's been searchable. But now I like to, talk more about photography, and that's why also I'd like to connect with, you Sony photographers and videographers out there. I want to talk to a whole breadth of people and reach as many people as I can. So as this business grows of mine, it is common sense for me to reach out a little bit further. I may take a bit of a hit from you Fuji fan lovers out there, but please do stay with me. I still have my X106 and my XH2S, so I will, still cover those topics. It's just I want to reach out to more people, which I think is fair. And the 5th, and maybe the most vital for me as a creative, is I did just become bored. In particular, my XH2S. It would at times frustrate me. It would at times limit me. At times, it's still a great camera, but with everyday use and creating content about Fujifilm for over 2 years now, I just feel it was time to look into another system. And I've always wanted to shoot full frame, and the switch to Sony just felt natural. So I think that's a good enough reason, really, and it's my personal reason. These aren't reasons that anyone else out there needs to make. They're just mine. They're my personal reasons for switching. And when I say switching, I just mean that this Sony camera is going to be my workhorse for the foreseeable. Still keep my XH2S. I will keep saying that, and we'll still make some content on it. But for now, I'm going to dive into this. This has got me excited, and I'm very interested to see what kind of new material I can create.